All right. We might as well get it rolling. The Improvement and Service Committee will come to order. We'll note all members are present for the final iteration of this fine group. Alder Scannell, Alder Gerlach, Alder Burnett, and myself, Alder Weary, with our guest appearance from Alder Levy. And I have an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Actually, I would recommend that we move item item G, up to the front, the public hearing at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I make a motion to move G up to the beginning of our agenda.
Second.
All right. Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Burnett to take G after D. We'll do it after the minutes. I don't think that'll take very long.
Correct.
Right?
Any other changes? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Alder Scannell, second by Alder Gerlach to approve the amended agenda. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right. We have an amended agenda. Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell. Any changes there? All right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. All right. On to public hearings. Asphalt pavement, South Van Buren Street, East Mason Street to Stewart Street. Director Grenier, do you do your technical description here at this point, or do
Yep.
we just ask if there's anybody? Okay.
At this point, we'll read in the engineer's report for the public hearing on March 23rd, 2002. In accordance with State Statute 66.0703, this public hearing is being held to levy assessments for proposed pavement improvements which are included in the 2022 Capital Improvements Program. All of the projects being considered tonight will be included in contracts administered by the City of Green Bay Department of Public Works Engineering Division. All the proposed assessments are being levied in accordance with the city's assessment ordinance. During construction, the contractor is required to provide access to businesses at all times and residences as much as practical. When a residential driveway is inaccessible, the property owners or tenants can receive permission from the city police department to park on adjoining streets. Problems during construction should be brought to the attention of the Department of Public Works Engineering Division by calling 448-3100. Asphalt pavement, South Van Buren Street from East Mason Street to Stewart Street is classified as a local road in a residential zoned area with a few commercial properties. The existing asphalt is an urban road section in poor condition and is in need of reconstruction. South Van Buren Street will be reconstructed with asphalt pavement with curb and gutter over a gravel base and a typical clear width of 30 feet. The 2022 assessment rate for asphalt pavement construction is $50.40 per front foot for commercial zoned use properties. The estimated cost of pavement construction is $340,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main rehabilitation and construction will be performed prior to the pavement reconstruction. The estimated cost of the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main are $116,000, $285,000, and $350,000, respectively. No assessments will be levied for the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main improvements. In addition to the engineer's report, the information that had been sent out as part of the assessment process has been included in the packet for the alders.
All right. Thank you, Director. Is there anybody here for this item for the public hearings? Asphalt pavement, South Van Buren Street, East Mason to Stewart. Anybody here for this item? Anybody here for this item, South Van Buren Street, asphalt pavement? All right. I do not. The appropriate motion would be to.
First would be to declare the public hearing closed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This public hearing is closed. Heary, heary.
Okay, then we would entertain a motion to order the improvements constructed and assessments levied.
I make a motion to, I make that motion.
I second it.
Motion by Elder Scannell, second by Elder Gerlach. As stated by Director Grenier. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
All right, motion carried. Very good. Back to the regular agenda. Everything we take up tonight goes to council in a couple weeks. I'm unsure of the date at the moment. Something. 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
April 19th.
19th, okay.
Almost a month.
I thought it
Wow.
was the 18th. You sure it's the 19th? I thought it was the 18th.
19th. The 5th would have been the council meeting, but that's election day.
Oh, the 19th is also the county board meeting? Okay. You guys.
All right, the number one, regular business, consideration with possible action on a request by Randy Dufek, 1215 University Avenue, to rescind the invoice for snow and ice removal on the sidewalk at 1215 University. Director?
We have included in the packet a series of photographs taken at the subject property on the date in question. We've also included a copy of a letter that Mr. Dufek sent in support of his request to have the charges for snow and ice removal rescinded. Taking a look at the photographs, it does look like the first photograph in the packet is simply to capture the house number. The second photograph is a before photo, and the third photograph is after we came through with our sidewalk unit. Taking a look at the first photograph, I think it definitely could be argued that there was an attempt to clear the walk. However, that attempt was unsuccessful. With that, given the history of sidewalk issues and the fatality that we had back in 2011, at the staff level, I don't feel comfortable rescinding these. We bring them to the committee, and if the committee decides that that the resident is deserving of some relief, we're fine with that. I just can't do it at a staff level.
All right. Thank you, Director. Elder LaFave, I think this is your area, right?
Yeah, is that the north side of University? Then it's mine.
Yes.
Reach out to me.
All right. Do you have any opinion either way on this one, Elder LaFave?
Well, I'm sorry, I did not get to see the photos. And, but yeah, University, well, there's a lot of traffic too, and it could be splash up from there, throwing snow up and, from a lot of the traffic. So I don't know if that's the issue or if it was because we had thawing and freezing.
I think the
So-
bigger issue here, this is that section of frontage road between Irwin and Webster.
Okay.
And I think the issue is that Mr. Dufek, I believe, has shift work. And when he came home after a 12-hour day, according to Mr. Dufek, the snow had set up and he was having difficulty removing it, is what he's claiming.
Okay. I would say, if that is true, then I could see, he tried and when you work shift, you can't be there during the day to take care of this issue, and you get home and all of a sudden that's what you have. So it's up to the committee. But yeah, I would hope maybe that could look into something for him.
All right. Thanks, Elder LaFave. Committee, any questions for staff, or do you have a motion, or what are your wishes? Elder Gerlach?
how much was the invoice?
I don't have a copy of the invoice here, but for a residence this long, I'm guessing it was probably in the $70 to $80 range.
Okay. I just, I feel for this person who says he worked a 12-hour shift. On the other hand, we can all come up with an excuse. So, we could, if we open the door, it could stay open forever.
Elder Burnett and Elder Scannell?
Yeah, Director Grenier, was there a complaint this? I mean, obviously it was brought to our attention, but what initiated that?
If we went out to address it, it would have been complaint initiated.
Okay. And have you, other than the letter, have you or anyone from your department had any phone conversation, in-person visit from the person?
I had a phone conversation with Mr. Dufek about a week or so ago.
Was he aware of the committee meeting? Did you invite him here to?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
He did state that he may be a little late or he may have trouble getting to the meeting because of when his shift ends. I told him the meeting was at 6 o'clock. He thought he would be able to get here, but he wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, and again, I'm not, Mr. Chairman, I'm not trying to, fault him. There are reasons why a person cannot make a meeting, especially if he's working. Sometimes I'd like to hear their reasoning and ask questions of the person who's asking for the refund.
All right. Alder Scannell?
Yeah, well, we've already opened that door, Alder Gerlach. It was just the last meeting or meeting before that somebody had been out of town and the person they had asked to shovel didn't do the greatest job, and we rescinded that.
That's what I mean.
Right. And which is why I was kind of on the fence on that one a little bit. But and once the meeting closed, I just felt kind of silly. We're talking $80. We're talking someone made an effort. I don't know. I don't know why people just if you had thrown down salt, I think that would have been, salt's not great for the environment, but it's better than an icy sidewalk, So I still feel like, in both cases, more could have been done by the owner to resolve the issue, but they did take efforts to resolve it. So, if $80 is a hardship for them, I don't know. I'll make the motion to rescind.
By Alder Scannell to rescind the invoice for snow and ice removal at 1215 University. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Alder Burnett. Director Grenier, have there been any priors that we're aware of, or is this the first?
To the best of my knowledge, there are no priors at this location.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Any other discussion on this? Alder Lefebvre?
Yeah, I think this is tuning the price, the cost way down or to rescind it. It's like you said, I've been walking around and there's a lot of people who did not clear their sidewalks at all. So I think, he tried and it was extenuating circumstances that he didn't get out there right away to do it. It's not like I don't want to do it, and then he got caught. But so I think, when people try to do the right thing, I think sometimes we got to have some leeway there. So, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Alder Lefebvre. Any other comments from the committee? Questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed?
No.
That motion carries. All right, that has been rescinded. Number 2, consideration with possible action on a request by On Broadway Inc. to enter into an agreement for perpetual care and maintenance of street furniture in the On Broadway Inc. district.
Back in 2015, the benches and trash receptacles on Broadway were starting to show their age. They had peeling paint and they were generally starting to look less than desirable. So On Broadway had approached us at the time, asking about having city staff go out there and take care of the furniture, and we did not have the resources to do that at the time. So instead they came to us and had a proposal for the Business Improvement District to offer up to member businesses to paint the benches and trash receptacles. That way they could have some unique character, kind of like an Adopt a Bench program. So in 2015, we allowed On Broadway Incorporated businesses to adopt those benches and trash receptacles and paint them. It's been 7 years. They're starting to show their age and need some touch-up again. So OBI reached out to us and asked if they could do something to touch those pieces of street furniture up. And in consultation with Operations Director and Parking Manager Pierlot, we decided that it probably wouldn't be the worst idea for the city to enter into a written agreement with OBI. That way it could be a renewable type option. There would be an opt-out clause for OBI that they could say we no longer want to maintain these things. But then we actually have a piece of paper that identifies rights, responsibilities, and who's taking care of what. So although we don't have a draft document right now, we wanted to discuss it in concept. And what we would look for would be, staff recommendation would be to approve the request to enter into an agreement for perpetual care and maintenance of the street furniture in the On-Broadway Incorporated District, subject to review by law department, and authorize the director to execute the agreement.
I will make a motion to approve that.
Yeah, second.
As long as On Broadway doesn't trash the trash cans.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Burnett to approve. You still with us, Director Grenier?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Just froze for a second. Okay. Any discussion on that?
that's why I keep going back and forth. If I look on the big panel, I see you're also freezing up from time to time. So if I look on the big panel, I can see what's going on.
All right. Well, we have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries. Number 3, consideration with possible action on a request by Alder Lefebvre for a streetlight study in the alley behind 1108 Reber Street. Alder Lefebvre, you want to go first here?
Yeah, I was approached by some residents. They actually are on Burner Street. They've been having issues with I think a drug house. And they thought if there's a light back there, a strong light, I think some of the residents have some, but it doesn't shine enough back there that maybe some of that would help. I'm also having a request into the Brown County Drug Task Force and that to look into this. But yeah, they just feel that it's so dark back there and it's conducive to illegal things going on. So that was the request.
All right. Thanks, Alder Lefebvre. Who gets the alley light? Is that you, Chris?
No, that's actually through traffic division.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Then
Used to be me.
Grenier.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share my screen here. Traffic has already taken a look at this because former Alder Fredette actually asked us to do alley lighting studies over here several years ago. So the subject property is this property here in red, and 2 properties away on the opposite side of on the opposite side of Reber, there's a street light out on Reber Street, and then this red one dot in the alley, 3 properties down, is where the alley light is. There are currently 2 street lights in the alley on this particular block. Mm-hmm. So one here, one here. So this alley currently meets or exceeds alley lighting standards for the city. So our recommendation would be to receive and place on file, and then not included in the recommendation, but in speaking with our traffic division will reach out to Wisconsin Public Service and request that they upgrade these 2 lights from high pressure sodium to LED.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Director. Alder Lefebvre, anything to comment on that? Or?
Whatever can be done to help. But like I said, it's also going to the Drug Task Force to see if we can do something with the drug problem. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a request that they asked me to put in. So,
Fair enough. All right. Questions, committee, or motion?
Motion to approve, to receive and place on file and approve upgrading the lighting. I think that's the same as putting in lighting, upgrading the lighting. That it should be brighter back there. So,
Well, I think because it's going to be a request to Wisconsin Public Service, and Wisconsin Public Service has no obligation to.
right. Just approve the request to
yeah.
WPS.
All right.
Okay.
Motion by Alder Scannell to receive and place on file and request from WPS to upgrade the lighting there. Is there a second to that? Second by Alder Burnett. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Thanks, Alder Lefebvre. Mom?
Another one.
Okay. Number 4, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works that the city enter into a memorandum of understanding with Green Bay Packaging, Inc. for their request to install a solar-powered rectangular rapid flashing beacon, RRFB, system at a mid-block pedestrian crossing of Radisson Street, the Green Bay Packaging employee parking lot. Whew. Director.
Okay, for those of you unfamiliar with this particular location, okay, up here we have I-43, Webster Avenue, Radisson Street. So there's a Wendy's and a McDonald's on the east side of Webster at this location. On the north side of Radisson is the box plant, the shipping division for Green Bay Packaging. So if you extend Radisson out, this is the area that the brand new mill was just constructed in. In this section of Radisson, between Quincy and Leo Frigo Drive, let me see here. Okay. There is an existing pedestrian crossing that has high-vis markings and new signage connecting an employee parking lot and the entrance to the box plant. Green Bay Packaging has requested that these signs be replaced with an RRFB. Green Bay Packaging has offered to pay the cost of installation and all maintenance associated with that. This is very similar to a request that the hospitals on South Webster requested when we reconstructed that segment of South Webster between Porlier and East Mason Street. So staff recommends approval of the MOU subject to review by law, and Jim has informed me that Law Department is reviewing that document right now as we speak. So again, this is very, very similar to what happened on South Webster.
All right. Excellent. Alder LaFave?
Yes, I think it's warranted because down Radisson, go over to Quincy, and there's a lot of, at times, there's a lot of people crossing back and forth. And I think it would just help, especially they probably have later shifts, and it would really help with sight. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of truck traffic, and a lot of traffic going through that area. But sometimes I don't go down Radisson anymore because of the railroad tracks. I still have trouble there. It keeps sinking. The tracks are terrible, so sometimes I don't. But but I want to say that, I've seen, employees trying to cross the street with traffic.
All right. Thanks. Questions, committee? Alder Scannell?
What is the cost of a light, putting in a yield sign like that? That terribly expensive?
Yeah, for an installation of a pair of RRFBs, it's running $15,000 to $17,000 right now.
Wow, I had no idea it was that expensive.
Yeah.
Well, they've got the solar pack, the battery packs, and then the signage and LEDs, the push buttons.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
The
But the
concrete-
maintenance of them isn't much, is it?
What's that?
The maintenance of them wouldn't be much, would it?
Maintenance itself, they're pretty maintenance free, except
Yeah.
what we find on South Webster is that set of RRFBs has been hit multiple times.
Really?
Yeah. So
Well, at least they're not hitting the pedestrians.
no, so the maintenance cost has really been centered upon replacement of those devices when they're hit.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things
As an FYI to the group, the hospital, on South Webster, the hospital paid for the repairs or replacements because they're the ones who asked for and paid for them originally.
Right.
Now, one
That
thing
would be
that's
the same
unique
here.
about this location, the developer's agreement with Green Bay Packaging actually called for potential vacation of Radisson between Leo Frigo Way and Quincy.
That's right.
And we are anticipating doing that. So we have been very upfront with Green Bay Packaging about I don't know that you guys want to put $15,000 into, or $17,000 into a set of RFBs when in a matter of months, you could be closing the street off with gates close to traffic. And packaging's response is, thank you for letting us know that. However, we're going to have our own trucks running through there, and we don't want our own trucks running our employees over either. So they're fully aware of what's going on, and they still want to install the RRFB, so we're good with it as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Gerlach to approve under discussion. Did you have your hand up, Chris Gerlach?
No, nothing to
Okay.
add.
You're just waving. All right.
I was waving to my son who was bothering me. Make him go away.
All right.
I thought it was me. I was going to leave.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Number 5, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve the revised assessment report for the Roosevelt Street reconstruction and to order proposed pavement improvements and levy assessments for the Roosevelt Street reconstruction project. Director.
A few meetings ago, we had the public hearing for Roosevelt Street, and at that time, we identified that the assessment roll that we had in there, identifying the assessments to the 3 subject parcels, actually contained the 2021 rates. So we approved the engineer's report and held off on ordering the improvements and levying assessments. We're simply bringing it back now that we have the updated assessment rolls and asking for the action to move forward.
Questions, committee, or motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell to approve. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Number 6, consideration with possible action on the acquisition of rights of way or part of tax parcel 2-760 required for the reconstruction of 6th Street from Gross Avenue to Marquette Avenue.
Okay, so as part of the 6th Street reconstruction, there is a need to acquire some small rights of way that are associated with a vision corner. The information relative to that, including several photographs, a parcel map, have been included in the documentation, as well as a copy of a warranty deed. So staff is, we have identified this as a nominal interest. It is a fee interest, so city would actually be acquiring that property, and that would become right of way. It's not a temporary limited easement of any sort. And the cost of that small triangle is $250.
All right, questions from the committee? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Gerlach to approve. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay. Number 7, report of actions taken by Department of Public Works, granting of licenses. Sidewalk builder. A, in the Countryside Concrete. B, KPC Concrete Contractors LLC. C is Lock Construction Inc. And D is Tilson. I think we just need to receive and place these on file.
That is correct.
Can we do it in as one, or do they need to be done individually?
No,
or?
you can do it as one.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Second.
Again, I'll second by Alder Gerlach to receive and file. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. All right, on to informational. Director's report.
Okay, and this I'm going to ask Chris to chime in on. We have established the dates for spring yard waste, and I believe they are April 18 through May 13, correct?
Correct. Yep,
Okay.
absolutely correct.
April.
Excellent.
Other than that, we are past, we are officially in meteorological spring. We're anxiously awaiting the end of snow season, and we are looking forward to converting the fleet from winter operations to spring summer operations.
Okay, so I can bring my Christmas tree down to the curb then.
There you go. Yeah.
So I have a question, please.
Go ahead.
I think I was reading this in the handbook that you give out to citizens, that although you can only put out yard waste during these certain times, you can put out limbs and branches on the terrace any time of the year?
As long
Correct.
as the brush is a half-inch diameter or greater at the point where you cut it, yes.
A half-inch diameter or greater?
Yeah.
I thought
So
it was
basically,
smaller.
your Christmas tree you can put out any time of the year. You trim your branches on your tree, or a resident cuts down their own tree, not a contractor cutting down a tree and then putting it at the curb for you. The contractor would have to take that. But anything that the resident does, including the Christmas tree, you go out to the curb year round, and that's no charge. That's part of a DPW services.
But if it's less than a half-inch in diameter, it's considered yard waste.
Correct.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Well, if no other questions, we can receive that and place it on file.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Second.
By Alder Scannell, second by Alder Burnett, to receive and place on file. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Oh, I spoke too soon. We do have another meeting of this group. It wasn't our last meeting, so.
Well, we are holding that date in case needed. If we don't have any items that come up that require action, we can cancel that meeting. That's the same thing I said about this one, and then realized in talking with Assistant City Engineer Wysek that we had a public hearing scheduled for this night and couldn't call that one back. So
Fair enough. Alder LaFave?
Just before you go, I just want to say to Chris Purlot, it's good to see you. I call and I got to leave
Maybe we keep
messages
missing
all the
each other on the
time.
phone.
He's so busy. But hey, pretty soon I'll be calling in potholes, even when
All
I'm
right.
not older. You're
Oh,
going to get a call.
we patched last week.
call
We
in a
patched
lot, don't I?
2,900 potholes.
Yeah. I'm the
they're starting.
pothole person, I guess, reporter. Wherever I drive and I see a pothole, because I know that if it's not reported, the citizen has to pay for any damages to their cars. So I'm being a good citizen
Yeah,
too.
just let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Kathy.
Well, then,
Anything
before
else?
I make a motion to adjourn, I'd just like to say to Alder Gerlach, with the branches there, I was often stumped on that one myself.
You gotta branch out a little more, Randy.
Yeah. And just in case this is our last one, it's been great with everyone. And,
So now we'll leave.
yeah.
Oh, no.
motion
Don't
to
stick
adjourn.
around.
Oh, God.
We have a motion by Alder Scannell to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, yeah, second.
By Alder
Third.
Burnett. Well, we can discuss it for a little while. We don't have to vote on it right away.
Let's discuss it.
What else are you gonna do tonight, right? I don't know. All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries 1-0. We're adjourned.
thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
Bye. Short meeting, thanks.